G'day, and thanks for investing the time to join us for this session presented by My Learning Space. The fact you've made the effort to view this presentation suggests learning and development are key priorities to you, and you're serious about finding ways to improve L&D in your organisation. My name's Chad Oughton, and I've shortlisted 7 L&D trends. These are a collection of my observations through the lens of an L&D professional, working closely with client organisations, reading literature, tinkering with technology, and attending conferences during the past decade or so. Some of the trends are more established than others. Some may be familiar to you or not, and that's okay either way. Let's start with a proverb. Confucius. He was a great Chinese thinker and social philosopher back in the time around 500 BC. And he said, "Tell me, I forget. Show me, I remember. Let me do, I understand." I believe his proverbs endured millennia, and it's particularly relevant to us as L&D professionals. Put simply, we learn best by doing. And that leads us to our first trend. And that is the 70-20-10 learning model. It's been adopted by modern day organisations, however it does lack empirical data and it is open to interpretation. Many organisations align their L&D practice with 7-20-10 as follows. So it's 70% informal learning, that's on the job, it's experience-based, projects and practice. 20% social learning, that's through coaching, mentoring, and developing through our peers and colleagues. And then 10% formal learning, that is the structured courses and training. Now we as L&D professionals are typically responsible for that 10%. So that is the induction, the compliance, the professional development courses. Let's not understate the value and importance of formal staff training in our workplace. However, we need to know how to positively influence the other 90% of workplace learning. Well, the good news is, historically speaking, Australians are mass consumers of social media. Now, this is some recent data from Nielsen online and their landscape review. This is Australian data for March 2014. We can see that approximately 50% of Australians were active on Facebook during the month of March, and of those active users, on average, they were spending 8.5 hours in that month on the social network. Around a third of us were either accessing a blog or blogging online on a platform such as Blogger or WordPress, and 3 million of us were using the LinkedIn network, social and professional network. What does this data mean to us as L&D professionals? Well, I believe we can harness it to enhance workplace learning. We need to carefully consider incorporating some social tools into our learning, especially the social and the informal learning, perhaps to a lesser extent the formal learning or training that happens in our workplace. So that might mean, as a starting point, perhaps incorporating some multimedia, perhaps a video, or the use of discussion forums. And then if you're feeling very bold and taking things further, consider online comments, blogging, messaging, wikis and tags. I did mention carefully considering these social tools, and I am mindful that many workplaces have strict policies around the use of social media in the workplace. So tread carefully. Trend 2 is gamification. Workplace training should engage the learner, but that's seldom the case, because learning experiences are either mandatory, they are too easy or too difficult, they are boring, unrewarding, or irrelevant to the learner or the member of staff. at that particular point in time. Let's face it, we've all had to endure such training and it didn't engage us. Thankfully, it doesn't need to be that way. How can we make learning fun? Gamification. Gartner research forecasts that by 2015, more than half of organisations that manage innovative processes will gamify. So the notion of gamification is using some of the key gaming principles and applying those to learning design to better engage our staff or learners. So in terms of borrowing some key gaming principles, there are several, but to perhaps run you through those very briefly. The notion of flow is a big concept in gaming that we can apply to learning design. The notion of learners being not too bored, not too challenged, they're in the zone. Motivation is a key principle, as is the idea of building resilience by balancing positive and negative emotions. We need to consider the sense of continuous progression. Goals, rules, choices, and feedback are important to learners, as is motivation, in particular using extrinsic or external motivation to build intrinsic or internal motivation. And lastly, to offer status, access, power, and rewards. So all of these things, if you like, there's these key gaming principles that we can apply to learning and learning design to enhance and engage the learner experience. Trend 3, badges. Learning happens everywhere, but it's often difficult to get recognition for skills and achievement that happen online or outside the workplace. Thankfully, Mozilla's Open Badges project helps solve this problem. It makes it easy for any organisation to issue, manage, and display digital badges across the web. Badges are a byproduct of gamification. They're a good example of how an important gaming principle can be used for effective learning design to engage learners. In gaming, badges are typically awarded to gamers for goal achievement. So badges are akin to a trophy, a stamp, or a medal. In the context of learning design, badges are digital evidence which can be linked to the completion of online training courses. So those courses may include induction, compliance, professional development, accreditation. Trend 4 is Timcan. This is a new alternative to SCORM. Timcan is an e-learning standard that allows learning content and systems to communicate with each other. In contrast to SCORM, it is events-based rather than a status-based standard. You're able to record and track all types of learning experiences. This includes a stream of activity from various sources outside the learning management system and the online content itself that may include activity streams from, for example, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. And you are then in a position to design your tracking to suit the learning experience. The good news is this new e-learning standard is supported and will be supported by major content development software providers, and there are tools that will convert SCORM to Timcan if you do decide to go that way. Trend 5, responsive web. This is a relatively new design approach. It optimizes a website or an application for various devices that may include desktop computer, tablet, and mobile. It's got massive implications for mobile learning and mobile training, and it does unlock the potential to deliver training anywhere, at any time, to any device. Trend 6, learning management system. Imagine being able to deliver effective training to anyone, anywhere, at any time, about anything via the web. That would explain the popularity of learning management systems. So an LMS is an interface. It helps to engage your staff or learners with meaningful learning experiences. An LMS is a software application. It's used to deliver online and blended training. You can manage users and courses and the enrollment of users in the said courses. You can assess and report. Better learning management systems go one step further. They will also allow you to personalize learning plans for individuals, align training with business goals, and manage staff performance. You can see there as well that the learning management system is typically hosted on the cloud. This is a new hosting architecture. For us, it simply means a more cost-effective platform that is highly available and scalable as our needs grow. Some of the key benefits of adopting a learning management system, because many organisations have and are now enjoying better distribution of learning, more flexible options in terms of the delivery of their training, better returns on investment, and results that are measurable. Trend 7 is outsourcing. In situations where organisations don't have the internal resources, so that may include the human capital or the technical infrastructure, it is becoming commonplace to engage an external partner or provider to help with the delivery of L&D projects. And some of the key benefits do include cost effectiveness, extending capabilities, reducing overhead, and mitigating risk. I did say 7 trends. Here's a few more trends that are on the radar. Wearable technology, the idea of smart glasses and smart watches, augmented reality. You can see that there in the background of the slide, the idea that the live view of the real world environment. Its elements are supplemented by computer input. Teleworking, so the notion of staff working remotely or virtually, and MOOCs, massive open online courses. So look out for these trends. So at this stage you may be thinking, well, that's all great. I've got some pearls of wisdom from today. And what are the next steps to better learning and development in my organisation? Well, let me share with you quickly our L&D Health Check. It's a free diagnostic tool aiming to help improve L&D in your organisation. It involves a quick, easy online assessment. It can be done in less than 10 minutes. There's 18 simple questions, and you simply answer yes or no. And from it you get a report. It's organised into 6 key areas: management, strategy, program, technology, people and culture. And the report includes feedback on the quality and the effectiveness of L&D in your organisation. Your performance is benchmarked against industry best practice, and the report also provides recommendations and guidelines and action plans. So you've got a working document there to move ahead with better L&D in your organisation. Simply go to ldhc.com.au. In closure, congratulations. You've taken the first step toward better L&D in your organisation, and I believe you've earned your first badge. Being here today makes a clear statement that you believe L&D deserves priority in your organisation. I trust we've given you some food for thought. Thanks for your time, and feel free to contact us when you're ready to improve learning development in your organisation.